upset alert in Tempe, and this time it's Arizona State on the winning end, taking down number 21 Washington 45-38. Welcome to the Devil's Digest postgame analysis. I'm Nick Borgia. Alongside me is Cole Topham. And Cole, the headline of this game, starting quarterback Emory Jones goes out in the second quarter with what we may believe to be a concussion. But then in comes Trenton Bourguet, the backup quarterback, goes 15 of 21, throws for 182 yards, 3 touchdowns and interception, but ultimately takes control and leads the team to victory.
Yeah, he was really solid, just completely in command of the offense ever since he subbed in. The first play that he took was, he didn't even throw a pass, but it was a touchdown. And he mentioned in the press conference just a few moments ago that it gave him a really good confidence booster for the rest of the game. And we saw that. He looked super prepared, decisive, automatic, looked really in tune with his playmaker, spread the ball around. He checked every box for what a backup quarterback needs to do in that situation to rally the team. And like you mentioned, it's like upset victory. The Sun Devils really needed this one, especially third week in Sean Aguano's tenure. And Trent Bourguet, he really pulled it together and got the win for his team at home.
And you mentioned how he was able to spread the ball around. Xavier Valade had 2 touchdowns, Daniel Ngata had a touchdown, Elijah Badger had a touchdown. The ball was going everywhere. So how do you think he did on that front, and how did the offense perform as a whole?
Yeah, I thought it was a really balanced attack, and Daniel Ngata, we want to see him get more touches, but he made the most of them. And on that last touchdown run, just completely untouched, bounced it to the outside. Everything was in sync. Elijah Badger, he showcased immediate chemistry with Trent Bourguet from the jump, a shallow cross touchdown. And then basically ASU trusted him on that one-on-one matchup at the end of the game. Just Badger, run your route, get open, you're the hot read, and Bourguet is gonna make the throw, and the ball's gonna be right there for you when you turn around. It's exactly what happened. Trenton Bourguet, he mentioned that ASU installed that play specifically this week to counter Washington in the red zone. And so you could tell the team was very prepared, but even though Trenton Bourguet was the backup, he took that preparation as the starter, and it paid off on the field. And that's the touchdown that ultimately won them the game.
And if we shift our focus to the defense now, Washington still put up 38 points, high caliber offense led by Michael Penix Jr., who still put up 300 yards, over 30 completions. So not a bad day for him at all, but he didn't have any passing touchdowns. So what may that say about the ASU secondary and being able to lock down in the red zone?
They truly were bend don't break. I think a big focus for them was playing off coverage, not allowing those, electric speedy receivers to get behind him. And Michael Penix, he has a strong arm. Obviously, he came into this week leading FBS in passing yards. So he can really dish the ball around, and it's really those big play, strong arm throws that have been his money over the past 5 weeks. So Michael Penix, he didn't complete many of those today because of the ASU secondary's game plan. They were in sync, communicating. Washington likes to run a lot of motion and shifts to kind of scramble the defenders and really force them to make adjustments. And I thought the defense was really in tune with that and had a really great game plan to just counter the overall nature of the Washington offense.
And as I said, 38 points still, but not a bad defensive performance at all. Obviously, we saw Jordan Clark with a pick 6.
He looked like a kick returner fielding that.
And he was up in the sky, tracked it, brought it all the way to the end zone. So that was a fun play to watch. And was there anyone else on the defensive side that stood out to you throughout the game?
Sticking with the secondary, I thought Isaiah Johnson making a second start at that outside cornerback position. Really solid game. He got picked on early, back-to-back throws on one of Washington's initial drives where he was playing gave a little bit too much of a cushion, and they moved the chains on him, but then really rebounded with a solid second half. And I think he was targeted 3 times over the last 2 drives of Washington, and he didn't allow a reception. And Ro Torrance had a great game as well. He had a really favorable length-on-length matchup against Rome Odunze, who just had an incredible performance against UCLA the previous week. And Odunze got his targets, he got his receptions, he moved the chains, but like I said, it was about that bend, don't break mentality, and that's what ASU was playing for.
Absolutely. So now they enter the bye week riding high on this wave of momentum, but Stanford in 2 weeks, what do you think needs to be the focus for this team, taking away from this win? What can they take away from that win in order to go into that Stanford game with full confidence?
You can't get complacent during the bye week. That's kind of what happened last year, where they suffered a loss to Utah on the road, had 2 weeks to prepare for Washington State and then came out flat at home. And there's like a period of almost 60 minutes where the offense hadn't scored a point. And that just cannot happen to this team, especially with the momentum gained from knocking off a top 25 team like Washington here at home. And so, especially going on the road against Stanford, bully ball receivers, you got to be disciplined in man coverage, stack up against them. They're not a team that you can take for granted.
All right, well, we've got the dust storm rolling in here, so that's about all the time we have for you guys today. As I mentioned, ASU enters the bye week, but we'll still be at practice with all your coverage at DevilsDigest.com, at Devils Digest on Twitter, and obviously we'll be at Stanford in 2 weeks for that game. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Nick Borgia. It's been Cole Topham. For the rest of Devils Digest, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next time.